Hey all, here OS Reviews. Today we're taking a quick look at the Comica RGB U-Mic. This is a compact portable microphone that is unique because it has a sound reactive visualizer on the back which can dance and strobe, but on the very top, of course, you have a condenser microphone that you can use for podcasts. Picking up your sound, has a 16mm capacitor size, and it has a rotatable base as well. The entire finish is also kind of unique because it is encased in what looks like a wood grain texture, although it's really just an accent on the polycarbonate plastic. And the reason why they have the unique lighting and the aesthetic here going on is Comica is celebrating their 10th year anniversary, so this is kind of their commemorative version. It sells for around $45, which is not too bad either. It is a wired mic though, so there is no Bluetooth capabilities for connecting to a smartphone unless you want to plug it using Type-C or Type-A to your device. Again, fully detachable, although one thing I will say here is the RGB light portion has a built-in battery of its own. So once you fully recharge this thing, you're able to use it as a mood light or a night light for about 6 hours continuously. Some additional unique features include a mute key located at the bottom here. There's also a line output, which allows you to monitor the sound that's being recorded in real time. The inside features just the microphone itself that we'll be taking a closer look at in a moment. Underneath the foam, you have access to the aforementioned detachable base, some quick user guides, and also the aforementioned USB Type-C cable for providing power / acting as mic input. So taking a closer look at the design here, I get the aesthetic that they're going with, although one thing I will say is that Comica logo printed at the top, it's not particularly, I think, my cup of tea, but there is also the other end, which looks a little bit more clean and traditional, although both sides again can pick up sound, and the mesh here is protected by metal. Now, a few other details here on the back is where you have a dial that you can use to change the volume controls for how loud you want the microphone to pick up your voice or sound. There are some built-in effects such as the aforementioned echo, reverb, which are baked into the chipset on here. So it processes the sound directly when you're recording to, let's say, your laptop or a camera without having to use additional software, which is pretty neat. And the mode key there is for the lighting effects that you can trigger. The side here houses just the two Type-C ports, one for charging, the other for the microphone input, headphone jack again for the monitoring of audio, and that's pretty much it. Very simple design. The front here houses just a simple mute key when you are actually recording, and the microphone will be turned off for safety reasons. The top, by the way, can also be rotated. Now the other side with the RGB lights, it's a little bit of a fingerprint magnet, but it is quite bright and easy to use. So again, there's that built-in battery that takes about an hour to fully charge. Then I can tap on the mode key for about 3 seconds and the lights will turn on by default, as you can see there, creating this very beautiful glow. The lights are surprisingly bright and evenly lit, and overall, it's a decent size as well, which makes it pretty easy to spot if you are just setting it onto a desk as a conversation starter. And again, reacts to the music in real time using the microphone there on the top, so depending on how loud you're talking, the sound waves here will generate higher and lower. We can also try to jump into some of the other modes. Next one here is actually the same effect, but it's actually reversed, so that the sound waves will go from the bottom to the top, as you can see there. And one more time, I can jump into kind of a parallel effect, which has the equalizer going on both sides, and reacting there in the middle becomes even more dazzling in the dark, as you can see there. Just creates this nice glimmering effect. One other here, which is no longer reactive specifically to your microphone, but rather a continuous stream of this beautiful RGB colors that dances along, as you can see there. Still looking quite good. One more time here, kind of reverses the action, moving in a slightly faster pace. And then one more time here, which is reversing kind of in a circle, still in a very dazzling and mesmerizing action, as you can see there. And then once more into a single color that will slowly strobe and change into the different RGB effects one at a time, very gently breathing, as you can see there. So that's also quite neat. And if you tap on it again, it will turn off and then cycle into the original mode where we started from. So quite simple, easy to use. All the individual lights underneath can be fully customized. And by the way, the base also has a soft touch rubber feet, and it's slightly weighted, so it won't really tip around once you put it onto a desk, although the positioning here is fixed, so I can't rotate this part nor tilt it up and down, which is why they give you the ability to rotate, again, the top portion here, and if you want to tilt it up and down, you can even do that by twisting the metal grills inside ever so slightly, as you can see there. So it is still giving you that customization, just not built directly into the dock. And overall, still looks really quite clean, as you can see there, when you pop it onto a desk environment. So let's try tapping on that one more time, and again, just returns us back into the original mode where we started from. And plugging it into a computer, you can tell that it's recognized pretty much instantaneously. We have the second LED that starts to light up, meaning that the microphone mode has been activated. So let's do a quick demo now. I'm going to begin to record, and by default I'll talk into the top section here, and you can tell that the volume here will react accordingly. And by default it's in the regular mode, which is purple, but if I tap on, let's say, the effect key there at the back, it will now turn into a blue light, which is now in a echo mode. So once we listen back later on, the sound will become much more echoed. This one here in orange is more of a reverb effect, still having a little bit of that background chatter, and then once more into green, which is more of a normal / podcast mode, then back into the violet, which is the original sound mode. So overall, we'll hear that change in a moment. One other thing I do want to point out is what happens if we tap on mute. So right now there's going to be no sound playing back. I can also talk here on the back, and the sound still can be picked up, as you can see there, pretty much 360 degrees. And I can change also the volume dial, let's say turning it all the way down. The volume will also start to decrease. Let's say the effect key there on the back, it will now turn into a blue light, which is now in a echo mode. So once we listen back later on, the sound will become much more echoed. This one here in orange is more of a reverb effect, still having a little bit of that background chatter, and then once more into green, which is more of a normal / podcast mode, then back into the violet, which is the original sound mode. So overall, we'll hear that change in a moment. One other thing I do want to point out is what happens if we tap on mute. Alright, so the overall quality, as you can tell, is actually quite impressive for something that's an all-in-one design. Surprisingly, there's not too much distortion or peaking even at higher volume levels, and quite good in terms of picking up my voice cleanly. Recording a little bit of music even, it sounds all right for things like instrumentals and vocals. It's not a shabby microphone at all, and all of the controls have been corresponded to do exactly as they are stating, such as muting it, changing the volume dial. It's all quite intuitive, and all the special effect modes work as intended. Though one thing I will say is as you're switching between the modes, you can hear the click of a button that is also recorded into the sound. So maybe if they dampen that in the future, that could be even better. As a fun novelty microphone in terms of doing a good job for podcast work, definitely better than what you'll have built into a laptop or smartphone for picking up your voice, instrumentals, as well as acting as a cool RGB light. I think it ticks quite a few boxes there. You can check out more details if you're interested in the links below, but for now that's been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews.